Good afternoon, Prof. and fellow classmates. We are Group 4. I'm Darren, she's Yi-Ting, Sherry, and Yu-Hui. Today, we're presenting on employees' motivation.
So these are some of the concepts that we will be going through today. What is motivation? Motivation is the forces within a person that affect his or her direction, intensity, and persistence of voluntary behavior. Simply put, it is frequently used to describe why a person does something. Employee engagement is always being discussed together with employee motivation. Employee engagement is defined as employees' emotional and cognitive motivation, particularly a focused, intense, persistent, and purposive effort toward work-related goals. Surveys report that employee engagement is associated with employee and work unit performance. So now I will explain the motivational forces or prime movers of the employee behavior. Drives are the starting point of motivation because they generate emotions. Drives and emotions generated from the human needs, determining how we behave and make decisions. Needs are goal-directed forces that people experience. The intensity of needs, the decisions and behavior vary from one person to the next due to individual self-concepts, social norms, and individuals' past experience. So now I will use a video to explain the 4-drive theory motivation. So basically, this theory states that emotions are the source of human motivation and that these emotions are generated through 4 drives. These 4 drives are drive to acquire, drive to bond, drive to comprehend, and drive to defend. So let us watch the video to find out more. John is an engineer at ABC Company. He had been working at ABC Company for close to 10 years. He started to get bored of his job and he becomes very lazy. One day, when John goes to work, he was shocked to see a new employee sitting at his desk.
Do you know who is this girl sitting on my table?
I think she's our new teammate. I think she just graduated from NTU and have a first class honor.
Oh wow, cool. I need to be careful from it.
John started feeling very insecure and anxious because he's worried that he will lose out to the new teammate. The new employee left work at 7 p.m. It's midnight already and John is still working.
Why are you so early for work and why do you look so tired?
Oh, it's 8 in the morning already and I've yet to go home.
Wow, you really changed
Oh, thank you. I need to get back to my work. I got a lot of work right now. Sorry.
As you can see from the video, John arrived at his workplace and discovered that there is a stranger sitting at his desk. Seeing this situation, John is worried and he's curious about who the person is. These emotions motivate John to do something about the situation, and these emotions are generated from drives such as the drive to defend and drive to comprehend. John is determined to find out who that person is because he wants to make sense of what is going on around him. and this is the drive to comprehend. So with the presence of the new employee, John works very hard as he wants to make sure that his job is still safe. He wants to feel secure and possibly to correct a sense of personal violation, which is the drive to defend. The other two drives we have not covered in this video are drive to acquire and drive to bond. Drive to acquire is the drive to seek out, take, control, retain objects and personal experiences. It produces the need for achievement, competence and status. Drive to bond motivates people to cooperate and consequently is essential for organizations and societies. So now I'll be going through intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation occurs when people seek fulfillment from doing the activity, not as a means to some other outcome. One example would be Facebook. Facebook matches people's strengths with their roles. They hire employees with talent and it focuses on people's strengths and practically ignores their weaknesses. Employees will enjoy applying their talents and observe how their talents and strengths achieve meaningful results. This makes them feel competent and autonomous when their motivation is self-initiated rather than controlled from an external source. So, extrinsic motivation occurs when people are motivated to receive something that is beyond their personal control for instrumental reasons. Salaries at Facebook range from an average of $76,000 to $170,000 a year, which is very high. So in addition, Facebook advocates for a holistic approach to benefits and perks which includes health, family, community, finance and convenience. The attractive perks and benefits provided by Facebook motivate the employees to work hard.
Imagine a scenario where Alice is an employee in ABC company and she feels sad and unmotivated in the company. This is because she feels that the target set by the company to her is too high and difficult to achieve. Moreover, she feels that it will be the company benefiting in the end. So, given this scenario, how can we make Alice motivated again in a company? There's this model called the expectation theory of motivation, which is a theory that states that work effort is aimed towards behaviors people believe will deliver the most favorable outcome. The first element is the E to P, which means that people believe that putting in efforts will actually lead to hitting the target. This is usually done so by assuring employees that they have the necessary skills, knowledge to reach the desired level of performance, and this is usually done so by job matching. The second element is P to O, where it is the probability that efforts will lead to certain outcomes, and is usually achieved by giving very supportive feedbacks. And lastly, for outcomes, this is the anticipated satisfaction from the outcome, like giving rewards such as money or even promotions. So, relating to the previous scenario just now, ABC company should reward Alice so that she will feel more motivated to go to work. Now, I'll be showing you how the expectancy theory of motivation has worked for the employees of Facebook and Dropbox. So, for in Dropbox, engineering teams are usually given 6 weeks to work on a specific task that are given by the company. And in this case, the employees already have their own specific and clear work tasks to focus on, and hence, it will be easier for them to achieve the goals since they already have the necessary skills as well. And in addition, Dropbox only expects a 70% goal achievement rate from their employees, which is actually quite easy to achieve for them. For Facebook, they focus on the individual strengths by finding jobs that are actually suitable for them. So employees would feel more motivated and comfortable working as the tasks are fitted to their capabilities. For the performance to outcome expectancy, the employees are convinced that their performance will lead to a good outcome. Example for in Dropbox, the board will review the management's performance and goals for the month to ensure that the management is on the right track and is achieving their goals effectively. Facebook also has regular feedbacks and peer evaluation that are reviewed to make sure that the employee is on task. And lastly, for outcomes, both Facebook and Dropbox offers a variety of job promotion offers for achieving their goals. And also at the same time, the employees themselves would achieve a sense of self-efficacy as they are able to achieve an outcome that they wanted besides just getting rewarded. The next concept will be the social cognitive theory. It shows that people also learn and are motivated by observing others and inferring possible consequences of their actions. So there are 3 steps to it. The first one is the learning behavior consequence. Second one is the behavior modeling. And lastly is the self-regulation. So the learning behavior consequences is when we learn by observing and hear from other people. For the behavior modeling, we would learn by imitating their behaviors. And also lastly, for self-regulation, we will set up our own plans and goals.
Goal setting is the process of motivating employees and clarifying their role perception by establishing performance objectives. Effective goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant to the employee's job, set within a time frame, exciting to create employees' commitment, and reviewed both during and after the goal has been accomplished. Specific. Goals should be clear and specific in order to have a greater likelihood of being accomplished, leading to a better performance. In relation to Dropbox, each team at Dropbox is given a specific work project on whether to install a new feature or improve the product. Hence, a specific goal clarifies performance expectation, so employees can direct their effort more efficiently and reliably. Measurable. Goals need to be measurable because motivation occurs. In relation to Dropbox typically expect employees to hit about 70% of their goals. When goals are measurable, employees will feel motivated as there is an indication of their progress and achievements of those goals. Achievable. Goals have to be sufficiently but not overly challenging. In relation to Dropbox gives allowances for stretch goals that may be hard to achieve. By setting goals that are sufficient, realistic yet challenging, there is a balance which motivates employees and brings great personal satisfaction. Relevant. Goals need to be relevant to the individual job and within his or her control. In relation to Dropbox, goals will be readjusted whenever there is an unforeseen event. This ensures that goals are relevant to the employee job and within their control. Time frame. Goals need a due date, else the goal became vague and commitments may waver. In relation to Dropbox, teams are given 6 weeks to complete specific work. With a deadline, it creates urgency and accountability for the employee to accomplish the goal. Exciting. Goals tend to be more effective when employees are committed to them, not for the sake of being compliant. In relation to Dropbox, internal events such as Hack Week allow employees to release their stress. This allows employees to feel rejuvenated and be committed to their goals. Review. The motivational value of goal setting depends on employees receiving feedbacks about reaching those goals. In relation to Dropbox board asks management for a report on their overall objective each month. Reviewing goal progress and achievements help employees identify the types of issues they are facing and to redirect their effort. Feedback. Feedback is information that lets us know whether we have achieved the goal or properly directing our effort towards it. And effective feedback should have the following characteristics. Firstly, it should be specific and relevant. It gives employees the chance to review their current progress and difficulties faced. Secondly, it should be sufficiently frequent and timely. Through feedback, employees can see the correlation between their actions and the consequences. Thirdly, feedback should be credible. Employees are more likely to accept information from trustworthy and believable sources. Strength-based coaching, which is also known as appreciative coaching, is performed through maximizing the employee's potential by focusing on their strengths instead of their weaknesses. In relation to Facebook, there's a division of labor in contrast to more traditionally aligned CEOs. Zuckerberg, he focused on product strategy and development, whereas on the other hand, Sandberg, she focuses on advertising, communications, and policy. The example between Zuckerberg and Sandberg is a role model for the strength-based approach. By focusing on the areas of strength instead of weaknesses, employees will feel motivated and productive in their work, which maximize their potential in achieving their goal. Equity theory. Equity theory states about how people develop perceptions of fairness in the distribution and exchange of resources. The perception of fair values varies with each person and situation. In short, employees determine feelings of equity by comparing their own output to input ratio to the output-input ratio of some other person. Input includes what employees can contribute, such as skills, effort, experience, and hours work. On the other hand, output includes what employees receive, such as salary, promotion, and recognitions. When people believe they are under or over rewarded, they experience negative emotions, also called inequality tensions. Employees are motivated to reduce emotional tensions through the following methods. Facebook uses the jungle gym approach instead of the traditional corporate ladder approach. The jungle gym approach treats employees fairly and gives equal access to opportunities and reduce the common feeling of injustice. When employees view their workplace as equitable, they will feel more loyal and more motivated to perform their best for the company.
Now, moving on to job design. What exactly is job design? Job design is the process of assigning tasks to a job, including the interdependency of those tasks with other jobs. In this week's article on Facebook, which you guys should have read, it is mentioned that when sourcing for employees, they select for talent, not just based on experience or determination. They define outcomes and not steps. They motivate by focusing on strengths and not fixing on weaknesses. They find the right fit and not just the next round. So in this case, Facebook adopts the job characteristics model. As seen in this model, the companies will usually adopt core job characteristics as shown in this slide, which leads to critical psychological states which will then lead to favorable outcome for the company. So in this article for Facebook, they mentioned that they define outcomes and not steps. So that actually falls under the autonomy section. So as it gives their employees the freedom to plan their own steps, making it less structured and more flexible for them. As such, this helps the employees to gain a sense of responsibility as they feel more responsible for their own plan as well as steps. And hence, in order to prove themselves, they will be more motivated to work even harder, which will lead to higher chance of success. By focusing on the outcome, it also puts more significance on the task, as people are more task-orientated as they work towards a common outcome in order to prove themselves. So this increases their drive to succeed and allow them to see the meaning behind their actions, hence increasing their work motivation. And hence they will also be able to gain a general satisfaction. So in another article on Dropbox, it is mentioned by Dennis Woodside, which is Dropbox COO, that the engineering teams work on 6-week sprints, which means that they are given 6 weeks to complete specific work projects, such as building a new feature or product improvements. So this form of job design practice helps to motivate the employees through job enrichment. So when the employees are only given 6 weeks for specific projects, a lot of planning has to be done in these 6 weeks, which means the employees are given more responsibility for scheduling, coordinating, and planning their own work, as everybody will have to play their individual role, and every part is crucial in order for the project to succeed or work out in such a short period of time. Hence, when the employees actually succeed, they will feel a higher job satisfaction and work motivation, as they feel that they have worked hard for it. Now moving on to the last part, we will have a crossword puzzle. So please pause the video and try to attempt it. Okay, so this is the crossword puzzle that our group has came up with to help you guys recap on today's topic of employees' motivation. Please feel free to pause the video and try to attempt it. These are the answers. You can double check, and if you have any more questions, you can feel free to post it on the discussion board. Thank you.